Hello, my name is Michaela Rodenbaugh. I am the audience growth specialist on the consulting team at News Revenue Hub, and I'm here today to present a quick webinar on in-person fundraising ideas for NewsMatch. So, in this presentation, we're going to quickly go through three big ideas for in-person fundraising for newsrooms. I will also accompany those with some great examples, and then we'll end off with some resources that you can use. So, my main three big ideas are first, make sure with any events that you are letting the journalism shine. You want to find creative ways to put your journalism on display, offer Q&A sessions, figure out ways to make it storytelling focused. Secondly, you want to get personal. This is an opportunity to build relationships with the people at your event. Allow them to ask your reporters questions. Finally, don't forget to follow up. Keep in touch, share the outcomes of your event, and continue to appeal for donations. So firstly, I want to share an example from the Nashville banner, and you can see a picture of them at a local library doing a pop-up newsroom. It's really important to involve your staff. This helps to make it personal. It's a great place for your journalists to also speak about the importance of their work. And it gives people a chance to kind of develop their relationships to the reporters on your staff. I also think that encouraging your journalists to really participate and embrace the live event format can be really helpful from a fundraising perspective, because they get a chance to share personal stories about why their work matters, or maybe a favorite story about recent impact that adds authenticity to the appeal for donations. So yeah, the banner, as I mentioned, hosts pop-up newsrooms in local libraries across Nashville, and they invite folks to come talk to them. It gives them a chance to kind of see behind the scenes of what it looks like to have reporters do their job, and it's all about sort of letting the journalism shine and letting the journalists shine. Um, it's also really important to try and make your events as interactive as possible. So in any way you can, you want to encourage audience participation. It's really great if you have community members who might be able to give live testimonials about what sorts of real world impact they have experienced as a result of your journalism. So to the extent that you can get that sort of thing going at an event, that's really great. I also have just had on my mind recently a tip from a different industry. So that's the example that we're sharing here today. So this is a University of Utah extension example at a farmer's market in Salt Lake City. And basically, they had a booth where they used little rainbow stickers to have folks there kind of give a little bit of information about their demographics and what they might need from the Extension University. I think that same sort of idea could apply very well to a live event format. And it just kind of reminds us to keep thinking about ways to repackage and reformat what we're looking to do when we connect with audience members. Um, Finally, super important to continue following up. So it's really great that you can kind of leverage the event's content for fundraising later on. So I'm sharing this example from Wisconsin Watch, where they filmed the event and then offered a recording later on. And then there is this really great sentence in here that says, well, this was a free event. If you can afford to pay it forward by contributing any amount to Wisconsin Watch now, please do. Donations help us keep events free for everyone. Really compelling, kind of ties it back to the mission of also being able to do more events in the future. Yeah, and then generally speaking, if you incorporate storytelling into your live events, and you showcase real examples of how reporting has influenced people's lives or your community, that will lend itself really well to content that you can continue to share out there. And so it will be easy to do things like uh, follow up with all the folks who gave you an email at an event and say, hey, thanks for coming, and sort of like share the outcomes of that event, that sort of thing. Finally, just a bonus tip, and this kind of applies for everything. make sure that you're making the money raising process as frictionless as possible. You want to offer multiple donation options, excuse me, while you are in the midst of the event. That can include doing real-time appeals. Maybe you make a QR code. You might also want to get a little bit more specific about tiered giving. Maybe there are different corresponding perks to the giving, like with any membership program, but that are tied to other events-based things. And then finally, as with anything that is not in person that you're fundraising, you want to center recurring donation asks because sustaining memberships are just really helpful for a newsroom to kind of plan around. So I'm giving an example from the forward. They have leveraged a unique donation page themed around their event. So it kind of shows a little bit more of like the artwork from the event itself. And then you can see the tiered giving examples here. And this is something that they can continue to use in the follow-up. It's something that they can have a QR code live for, all kinds of things. And, you know, as you scroll down on the page, there's lots of different giving options. So I know that not all INN members are on RevEngine, which is what this is built off of, but the idea here is that you want to make it as frictionless as possible for people to give you money. So really think through that and offer like dedicated space and time to make the ask. I know it can be kind of awkward to make the ask, but that's kind of why we're here. So with this in mind, I'm just going to leave you with a couple of resources. Firstly, there's a News Revenue Hub case study on how one workshop inspired a wave of successful newsroom events. I think that's worth checking out. I've got something from Better News on leveraging sponsorships for journalism events in case that's something that you'd like to level up your NewsMatch event with. And then finally, from Local News Network, we have how news events foster engagement and expand revenue. I definitely recommend checking this out. With any questions, feel free to reach out to hello@newsmatch.org. Thank you so much.